Hey there, the name's Clark, and welcome back to my devlog. Let's bring this game to life with some animations.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Animations drain an independent developer's most valuable resource, time. Don't get me wrong, I love art, and have been doing a lot of it digitally over the past few months. I've made some pieces that I'm extremely proud of, which have even led me to getting my first art commission. But animating something frame by frame is not only tedious, but extremely mind-numbing. Nevertheless, I started. I was in the mood for creating a new zombie, so I drew this fatty zombie. I'm still digging the geometric style so far. And so, I attempted to only animate the legs and see if I could do something half decent. I moved all the feet to the right positions following an online reference, and made a layer for each on Illustrator. I then imported it into Adobe Animate. I realized I was going to need a lot more frames if I wanted the fatty to run slowly as I intended. As desperation fell over me, a savior appeared from inside of Unity itself. My time and sanity are saved. The benefit of having done everything in vector art is that I can rotate and move every body part without having to worry about aligning pixels. Instead of having to draw all the frames for all the different possible movements and actions, all I need to do is dissect my zombie and handle the movements using Unity's animation. So, I imported the body parts into Unity and assigned pivot points in the appropriate locations on the parts. I then assembled my zombie and parented the right body parts to each other. For instance, all the parts except the feet are parented to the body so that when I move the body, the arms, neck, and head move with it. I did the same for the neck and head, allowing the neck to guide the movement of the head while being able to make the head sway atop the neck. My zombie is all ready for animation. I made a walking animation by swaying the body parts and moving the feet back and forth. I apply these animations to my zombie object, and look at that. Amazing. The next glaring problem is having all the zombies staring into the abyss to our right. So I wrote a code block that checks the X position of the zombie and the player. If the position of the zombie is greater than that of the player, it sets its scale to -1, which essentially flips it, making it look left. I also made one of the parameters to go into this block of code a boolean called isLookingRight, so that instead of this block running on every update tick, it only gets executed if the zombie switches from being on one side of the player to the other. Now we're getting somewhere. But wait.
Nani?
My immersion is completely broken with this awful sprite overlapping. It's time for some Z layering. It's pretty simple. Let me explain what that is. Even though we've been making a 2D game, we've actually been working in 3D space. The Z value aiming upwards towards the camera, and the X and Y value being on the plane itself. This is how we've been able to make the sprites overlap correctly, like for instance the body parts of the zombies and the gun on top of the player. But now we want the Z value for our objects to change dynamically according to their Y positions on the screen. Since my scene is currently in the negative Y space, with the negative Z axis pointing towards the camera, I simply equal the individual Z values of our objects on our scenes to their respective Y values. This allows the sprites to move in this diagonal 3D space above the XY plane, and then be viewed in the correct order in 2D space. The words that are generated above the zombies are actually generated onto the canvas, which itself is at a lower Z value than that of any of the zombies, making it appear above everything else. I took a break and checked my mouse-friendly mousetraps I got off Amazon, and lo and behold, I'd caught one. It felt wrong releasing this one in the dead of winter without any reserves, so I took out an old hamster cage and called them Scabbers and called it a day.
This is Scabbers, by the way. Pathetic, isn't he? Just a little bit.
But there's still one thing bothering me about our game at the moment. The main character. He's supposed to be part of this special military corps, yet he looks like he spent all of quarantine chugging beer. It's time to fix that. The round head wasn't vibing with me anymore. I wanted to go for a more chiseled jaw look and gave him bigger glasses, giving him a more bobbleheady vibe. I then made the shoulders a bit square compared to the gut. Then I decided to continue down the bobblehead path and shrunk the body down. Look at this cute little guy. I'm finally pretty satisfied with the character, so let's get to animating him. I made all the necessary sprite sheets so that I can rotate my sprite in all 4 cardinal directions. Then I created the walk animation for all 4 of the cardinal directions, up, down, left, right. Then I made an idle and combat animation. For the combat animation, I just hid his hands behind his back, but I won't tell if you don't. Then it was a pretty simple matter of connecting the states to Boolean values that I had assigned through the code and make the machine change state depending on those Boolean values to trigger the right animations. I also made it so that any state can lead to the combat state, since the player should be able to toggle combat mode while in any other animation state. So here we are, we've made some good progress. Meanwhile, my newest visitor has a new friend. Hey, thanks for all the nice comments on the first devlog. It really means a lot. If you feel so inclined, I would love for you guys to name my second mouse down in the comments. If you want to see where this game goes, consider subscribing or leaving a like. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.